Good afternoon. There was an expression of interest in cooking the eggs in the little cooker I showed you the other day. I have got my potatoes boiling. I'm going to have an omelette with them. You don't have to line the bit dish with this, but I like to put a little bit of fat in for the flavour. Just a little bit of butter. That's just to line it all. A little bit of grease in the hands. Now, 1 egg. Didn't get my fork, did I? Oh dear. Right. Here's the egg. Whip it up just as you would for any omelette. Now, you can cook it plain if you wish. Whoa. That would have been a disaster. But I'm going to put a little bit of tomato. It's determined to crash. I'm going to do it that way. Here we go. And the very spears of the broccoli. Cut those down almost into a couscous. Eat the stalky bit because it's delicious. You can add that to salads, you know. Lovely bit of crunch. Very mild cabbagey flavour. Just delicious. So this is protein plus 2 veg, and then the potato will be 3 veg. This morning I already had a pear and a banana. That's my 5 a day. You're seeing it raw and naked, people. Now I tend not to season directly whilst cooking, as it can toughen the egg somewhat. You can see them after. In this little magic cooker, just make sure that the steamer is open. Note, you can do this in any type of dish. It doesn't have to be the steamer. I just happen to find these to be well worth investing in. I don't have a rotary, I have a ceramic, so I line it. That's what you're seeing there. I reduce the power. This is an 800 watts cooker. I reduce it to 70 and I cook for 1 minute. And then we shall revisit. Double check. Give it a little stir. That's about half done. So again, reduce to 70%. And I'm not going to overdo it, so I'm going to give this now only 50 seconds. I'm pondering cheese, but I'll think about that after. You could whisk the eggs more and actually make scrambled egg the same way. If I want to make it more like a poached egg, you just simply don't stir it. Just put it in, pierce the yolk though, when cooking in the microwave, but cook in a similar fashion. Fairly steaming now. Look at that. One omelette with vegetables ready for my afternoon tea. Just make sure everything is cooked. Yep, beautiful. Spot on. Right. Rice. 1 cup of rice is enough for 2 people. That's the usual measure. I always use basmati rice. I find it just to be the best rice to use in the world. Nutritionally, it holds better value than standard supermarket rice. But long grain's fine. Long grain possibly requires slightly less cooking. It can be more stodgy as well. But if you follow these Indian routines, you may find it improves. So 1 cup of rice, you can do as many as you like, but I choose to do 1 cup. This is what I'm doing today. Always rinse your rice. Cold water. Now, if I was doing this the full banquet way, I would now spread this out on my board and let it dry before I cooked it. But you can go straight into cooking. All that does is just make it that little bit fluffier, but it's not essential. Now, the one valuable trick that I learned many years ago from my Indian auntie, no matter how much rice you have in your bowl, the water above the rice should measure the tip of your middle finger. Now we all have slightly longer or shorter middle fingers. If you're shorter than average, go just to the inside of the knuckle. If you've got a slightly longer than average, go to below the knuckle. But for me, a fairly average finger to the center of the knuckle. So fill the water to the surface and then plus that amount, no matter how much rice you have in the bowl. Make the rice flat. Dip your finger. If it's not enough, add a bit more. wheat add. That's it. I personally have never known that to fail. One or two people have said to me, oh, it was too stodgy, or it wasn't cooked enough. That just means that you have to adjust your measure ever so slightly on your knuckle. That's all that is. But it's a fairly foolproof way of ensuring an appropriate amount of water to the rice for full cooking and for looseness of rice. Now, you can just put that straight away into the microwave like that. Cook it. I have an 800 watt, so you know it's an 800 to 850 watt microwave. 11 minutes and it's cooked. That will vary according to what microwaves you have, and you will need to find that out for yourselves. If you've got a 700 watt, for example, perhaps try 11.5 minutes, and you can always give it a little extra boost if you need. If you have a 900 or 1000 watt, try 10 minutes, and you can always add cooking time if you want. Do not go over. There's nothing worse than overcooked rice. However, today because I'm making my meal, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Khichdi, which became known in Britain as kedgeree, is actually a vegetarian dish. The Brits, of course, had to put their bit of meat in it, which happens to be smoked haddock, mostly. And eggs. You can do that. You can do that if you wish. True khichdi is lentils, and it can be any form of lentil, and rice with a few little bits and spices. I'm not going to use lentils. I've got a jar of chickpeas to use up, so I'm going to put chickpeas into my khichdi, and I highly recommend this brand. I get it via Amazon. Occasionally supermarkets will keep it. It is top notch. I eat these like salad straight out of the can. I love them. Keep the water, because that's aquafaba. You can whip that and use it like whipped eggs. But anyway, that's chickpeas. And I'm going to add, I've spoken to you before about the knuckle of the, or the marrow of the broccoli. And this is how I prepare it. That's the old end, that can go. I just want small cubes in this one, so I'm going to half it. These being already cooked, all they're really doing is heating and adding flavour to the rice. That's quite a lot of chickpeas still. I think I'm going to make that do, so I'll still have enough there for nibbling on if I want to. Oh, so tasty. Right. I am going to do instructions on spices at a later point. For khichdi, it's kept very simple. Just a little bit of fennel seed, not too much because it's quite a strong herb, a little bit of mustard. This is black mustard seed. A little bit more of that. Long is clove, just a couple of cloves. Sprinkle of ginger. That's dried ground ginger. You can use fresh ginger, of course. And jeera, which is, oh, I have to remember the English names. It'll come to me. I'll write it on the screen if I've forgotten. Not too much. Cumin, isn't it? I think it's cumin is what jeera. I just know the Indian names. Okay. Give that a good stir. Note, when cooking with the microwave, we tend not to put the salt in. I've mentioned this before, I think. If not, note it now, because it tends to alter the cooking nature. You can always season afterwards. Now the veggies and items will always stay on top of the rice, but that's okay. With these rice cookers, we've got a steam guard. That stops any overspilling. And the main lid with air vents. It's got a little extra in it, but I'm still going to put it at my 11 minutes on high. See you in a bit. Let's check it out. Lovely hold handles on this. Be very careful. That steam is hot. Okay, because of the other ingredients in there, that needs a little bit longer. The rice is actually quite cooked. Okay, excuse that fan. That was an extra 3 minutes because I had the extra things in it. But as I say, you can check that out for yourself, see how fluffy that is. Whoops. And you can see that 1 cup has produced enough. That's actually going to give me 3. A little bit of fresh lime. Just a shake of salt. Coming out here. A little bit of pepper. Curd and rice is one of those taste sensations in life. Love it. Now, I wouldn't normally put the same spoon in there, but that's just about finished up, so excuse me. This pickle is brinjal, which is eggplant pickle. If you can't get it at your supermarket, you'll get it at your local Indian supplies. Et voila!